All right, girls. Heights on 3. Listen for the ring. 1, 2, 3.
Heights!
All right. One-man show, again, is on the road, this time at Cuyahoga Heights High School. Cuyahoga Heights draws a lot of its students from the Brooklyn Heights area. Tonight, we're going to talk with football players, but first, volleyball players here for the Redskins. I have 2 seniors. On my right, I have number 11, Jessa Matt, a 3-year player. On my left, just grinning away, Courtney Randall with 2 L's, number 12. She's an outside hitter. I'm going to put the first question, though, to Jessa. During practice and while we were setting up for the show here tonight, I heard a lot of vernacular being thrown around, terms, words, vocabularies to describe hits, some of the practice maneuvers. Tell everybody at home some of the terminologies associated with the game of volleyball.
Well, there's a dig, which is when a back row person passes the ball to a setter, who then sets the ball to a hitter who kills the ball. And then
kills the ball. That really sounds awful vicious.
yeah, it's not. I don't know.
We're going to make it easy, though. We're going to talk about the season here. Your high school volleyball team is having a good year. I think that's safe to say. What is the one thing you didn't expect from this team at the start of the season that you've seen it do now that the season's underway?
Well, I didn't think we were going to act as much as a team as we do now. Like, I don't know, it seemed like at the beginning of the season we weren't all together, and now we've really come together, and we beat Lutheran West, which I didn't think we were going to do at the beginning, but...
That's a big win for your team.
Yeah.
And I think what a lot of folks, maybe you don't know, and I forgot if I mentioned this at the beginning of the show, but the Redskins have won the last couple of MAC 8 championships, and that's no small feat. Courtney, you're fairly tall. Do you find that that's a big advantage for high school volleyball, especially if you're on the front line as far as mismatches against some of the other student athletes?
Yeah, I think it's a big advantage. When you're going up to block, you have the more advantage of stopping the ball and blocking it from going over, and you can hit it farther down.
Does that give you somewhat of the horseshoes and hand grenades type of mentality where you know you're just going to bury the girl on the other side of the net? Between the two of you, what is the one play this season that stands out the most to your mind that maybe helped turn a game around, maybe even turn the season around, or maybe led to some conference successes here? We'll go over here to Jessa, because I know you've got a lot to say here tonight.
Yeah. Well, I don't think there's really one play. I think there's a lot of important plays that happen during the course of the game. I don't know. I mean, every win that we've had, there's been a ton of important plays.
Ooh, you're ready for Sports Center now. All right, let's stick with this, and we're going to stick with you here again, Jessa. Describe the style of play of Courtney here on my left.
The style of play?
Describe her style of play in your own words. You can cover your ears so you don't put pressure on her.
Courtney's she's a good all-around player. She can play front row and back row. She's very aggressive, and she's willing to hit like anywhere. She can hit any position, and yeah.
You're folding up here like a house of cards. Come on. All right, let's put the question to you then, Courtney. Describe the style of play of Jessa. She's a 3-year starter. She brings a lot of experience to the court, and I would imagine that there's a lot of techniques and things that she brings to the game. I tell you what, we'll even make this simpler. 2 of the things that stand out in your mind about her style of play.
She's always, last year she was a co-captain, so she brought like the leadership to this year, and also like her hitting ability has helped everyone else, because when we watch her hit, it helps everyone else how they hit.
Describe Coach Burton's style of coaching. When you first started to play varsity volleyball, what did you expect from him, and what is the one thing you've learned about Coach Burton now that you didn't think you'd know, or was a bit of a surprise to you?
Well, I knew right from the start it'd be tougher than like last year, and we had like 2-a-days this year, but from him we learned to always believe and anything will happen.
Do both of you think that a lot of the disciplines you've learned from volleyball, both in practice and in the games, are things that you can maybe take into life? Because you're seniors. You know, next year high school's over.
maybe both of you might get a chance to play college volleyball, but what are some of the disciplines and experiences that you'll take from volleyball that you think will help you later in life? And I'm going to stick with you here, Courtney. You answer that question first, and we'll get with Jess in a second.
I think you learn that in the beginning you might not think that you can do anything. Like, we didn't think we could beat Lutheran West, or, you know, we had doubts, and like in life you don't think you can do things, but in the end you can do it. If you believe that you can do it, then you will.
Excellent. Jessa?
I think that we learned that hard work pays off, because we've put in much time this season, like more so than any season, and we've had a ton of success, and that's true in life. The more work you put in, the more results you see.
Jessa Matt on my right, Courtney Randall on my left. I'd like to thank both you young ladies for being on One Man Show here tonight. We're going to bring two more girls right up here in a second.
Thank you.
Oh, that was pretty. Nice.
Hit line a little bit more.
Well, we've already seen two volleyball players from Cuyahoga Heights High School tonight. I have two more. I'm flanked by volleyball players everywhere. And why not? The Redskins are enjoying a tremendous season here in the MAC 8. On my right, I'm flanked here by Jessica Carpenter, number 4. She's a 3-year letterman, and I'm a senior. I'm also blessed with another 3-year letterman on my left here, Laura Budzinski, number 9, also another 3-year letterman. I'm going to try to get the questions to be a little tougher this time for you two girls. I took it easy on the first two. What got you involved in volleyball, Jessica, and why volleyball?
Well, I think as a middle schooler, I think we just all wanted to try it. We had a big team when we were younger, and it was just something to get involved in, and as the years went on, we were really good, so we stayed with it, and it was kind of a fun thing, like bonding with our teammates, and it was all of our friends, and they became like our close friends, and it was just something we liked and we were good at, so we stick with it.
Do you play any other sports besides volleyball?
Yeah, I play softball.
Same question to you, Laura. When did you get into volleyball, and why the sport of volleyball? Why not maybe softball or girls basketball? Or tell everybody in the Cox audience, maybe you play all these other sports.
Yeah, I play softball.
Do you
also.
really?
Yeah, and I cheer.
But oh, you cheer too?
Mm-hmm.
So you're a cheerleader for football, which, now this is a good question. Now you folks listen to this at home, because you don't see a lot of this. Now, I know you're laughing, but this is serious. I've done a lot of interviews, and we've talked a lot of high school sports here on One Man Show, but this is something you don't see too often, and many coaches are the reason why this doesn't happen sometimes, where you have a student athlete that actually participates in 2 activities that take place at the same time while the seasons overlap. Let me ask you about that. How much support, Laura, do you get from your cheerleader advisor and your volleyball coach and encouragement to participate in both activities?
I get a lot of encouragement from them.
Well, it's an important thing, because, you know, do the coaches, they don't work in opposition to one another then, do they? They both support you, one being a cheerleader, one being a volleyball player. And have you ever had maybe the one time where volleyball, you were changing out of one uniform and into the other?
Yeah. I just leave volleyball practice and I have to run home, shower, get ready for cheerleading, and sometimes I have dinners, so I'm rushing everywhere all the time, but it's fun.
And you know what, we encourage all of the parents at home, and again, I know there's coaches watching, allow these student athletes to participate in as much as they can. You heard it with the first 2 girls, you know, some of the things that they're going to take on with them, you know, as they graduate high school and they hit the adult world. When you started the season, you brought a lot of skills, Jessica, you know, having played for 3 years. What have you learned from the start of the season as a senior now that you can do now that you didn't and weren't able to do on the volleyball court?
Well, definitely last year I wasn't much of a back row player, and I really been working on that this year, and really trying to contribute to the team in the back row, because we really need that, because that runs the whole offense, and without that you can't do anything. You can't run plays, anything.
Well, I only play recreational volleyball on the sand courts. You got to help me out here. What specifically did you do to address the problem? What drills, or what did the coach do, or what did he work with specifically to help you improve that element of your volleyball game?
Well, he showed us a new technique called the platform, and sticking a pass.
I gotta stop you there, okay. Break down the platform. What is that for the folks at home? Because right now they're picturing, I think, maybe a finger scaffolding.
It's kind of like holding your pass, like following through, kind of, that sort of thing. And it really just, if you follow through, it goes straight to the setter. And That really helps a lot.
And having a good platform helps you
Really?
get it to the center.
Well, and since you're both, that's quite all right. You know, it's your moment to shine here. It's more than your 15 minutes of fame here in One Man Show. Between the two of you, you've earned 6 letters, and there are freshmen and sophomores that'll come up and eventually replace you after this season. What's the one piece of advice, and you got to quit giggling on me here now. Laura, you got to get with the program here. What is the one piece of advice that you can give to the freshmen? Let's back up a little bit. Let's say the 7th and 8th graders coming to the high school as freshmen and sophomores. You know, you're going to leave a lot of experience behind. What one piece of advice would you give them if they want to succeed at the level you two girls have? And I'll put the question to you first, Jessica.
Well, I would definitely have to say stick with it. It gets really rough, the conditioning, the 2-a-days. There's going to be times where you just want to quit and say, that's it. But you just have to stick with it. It'll get better, and the wins are worth it.
Laura, same question.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
You got to make sure we can hear you at home.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. You have to be able to set time for volleyball and make sure you can get all your homework done and have time for everything.
We have to do, for high school, you have to have 60 hours of community service, so there's time for that. And
yeah.
like I volunteered at a nursing home, and just things like that you have to do. So.
Yeah, I forgot about community service.
That's okay. I tell you what. Okay, make sure you stay on camera. Okay, you've had a minute or two to think about it. Are you all calm? You relaxed now? What else are you?
I can't really think of anything.
We're trying to make it easy for.
Well, I know that the other seniors are very involved with a lot of activities. Courtney
Ladies,
and Jessa.
it's been nice to have you on One Man Show here tonight. On my left, Laura Budzinski. On my right, Jessica Carpenter. Thank you. We've just chatted with 4 fine young ladies that are helping lead the Cuyahoga Heights Redskins to one of the most memorable volleyball seasons in recent years, and possibly, who knows, string another MAC championship on the wall. What the heck? Up next on One Man Show, the football players, and they too are having another great season here at Cuyahoga Heights High School.
And also, yeah, we just the whole season we'll remember. And I know she just said that, but it's just you remember little parts like our volleyball dinners and just our dance parties that we did before games, and we'll always remember the times we shared with our friends and our coach. And yeah.
Uh-oh, show us the sprinkler move here real quick. Try to stay on camera. Oh, hey, okay. Here, stay on camera here. Show us the sprinkler move.
No, I don't have the sprinkler move anymore. That got drifted to Kelly.
Wait, okay.
Yeah, I'm the lawnmower.
Since you don't want to do the sprinkler or the shopping cart, hold on here.
Do the lawnmower.
The lawnmower.
See the shopping cart.
Okay, do the shopping cart here for everybody at home.
Just imagine me standing.
There it is.
That's the shopping cart.
That to a beat, huh? Yeah. Okay, you guys have some real hootin' of a parties, don't you? I tell you what, ladies, on 3, how about a Go Redskins? 1, 2, 3.
Go Redskins!
You're watching One Man Show. That wraps things up here for this segment. The football players are on deck. On my left here, I've got Jeb Goins, number 32. He's a returning starter. He's the strong inside linebacker, and for you folks at home, that's also known as the Apache. Now, what a cool name for a football player to have for a position. And this guy over here on my right is Kacznarek, number 19. He's a wide receiver, outside linebacker. Now, old Jeb here, he's got 13 TDs at the time of the taping of the show, and by the time One Man Show airs, he's probably going to have a whole lot more. Now, Kyle here, he has 7 TDs, but the cool thing here is, Kyle, one of those was a pick, wasn't it? Who was it against, and how many yards did you return that for pay dirt?
Yes, that TD pick was against Brooklyn, the Hurricanes, and that was, I think, around a 30-yard interception return.
What got you involved with football, Kyle, and at what age did you start playing?
I started playing my sophomore year in high school. I was playing soccer my freshman year, and I think I lost my interest in all that. And
hold on, you mean you played soccer, but they didn't recruit you to be the kicker?
No, I wasn't doing that. I got a lot of hassle from my buddies too,
I bet, yeah.
And I don't know. I just decided to join the tradition and be on a winning team. Nice,
Jeb. You've enjoyed a great deal of success. Again, just under 1,000 yards at the time of the taping of this segment. You'll probably have statistics by the time the season's over. When did you get into football, and what lured you to the game? At what age did you start playing?
Oh man, well, I started playing football in 7th grade for our middle school team, and
No CYO or city youth leagues of any kind?
no, when I was in the 6th grade, nobody really bothered to tell me about the CYO league. I was a little
Or you
upset
would have
about
played,
that.
huh?
I would have played, but what got me into football had to be my stepdad, Billy. He always used to take me out in the backyard and throw me long passes from the porch, and always tell me, showed me elbow in when you're running the ball, and cover a ball with 2 hands, just always when I was little. So that's what got me.
Best
into it.
play, biggest play, greatest memory of this year's season, what would that be, Kyle?
There's been a lot of big plays. I think Jeb to my left here, to your left. I think he's made a lot of good plays. I think he's proved a lot of people wrong with his running abilities and shown everybody that he's able to step up and take the place of our past running back, and that he's done an excellent job. I think he's made a lot of big plays. I can't really pick out one of them, but he's made a lot of them.
Nice. And where's he taking you out for a steak dinner after a plug like that?
Nowhere.
Okay, Jeb, real quick, same question, same answer I expect from you, buddy. What's the one play so far at the time of taping here tonight that you're going to remember forever from this season?
The one play that I'm going to remember for the rest of my life is definitely at Lincoln West, our first game of the season, where we lined up for a PAT, and the point before we did a fake and we scored the 2 extra, and the time after we went to line up in our Muddle Huddle, and one of the guys from the opposing...
Hold on here, wait a minute. Muddle Huddle? What the heck is a Muddle Huddle?
Well, Muddle Huddle's when you have you have 7 guys on one side of the field, and the other 4 guys on the right side, and one group lines up as a group, and then you have the center and then the quarterback, and they can go out for a fake, or they yell move, and you all move to your position and line up for the point.
Excellent. And I interrupted you there, so go ahead and finish telling us about your favorite memory from this season.
Well, we lined up in our Muddle Huddle, and our group to the left, which is me and our 2 slot backs, Mark Soldat and our tight end Tim Clymer, and our lineman. And we were just we were sitting there, and then the one guy from the opposing team on Lincoln West yelled, "Watch the Mickey Wiki." And ever since then, every time we line up for a PAT during practice, we all yell, "Watch the Mickey Wiki," and I think that would be definitely the most memorable moment this season.
Okay, and I got to ask you guys this, because we all wish that we, maybe could have been star football players like you guys are in high school. What makes you more nervous? A big play with the game on the line, or asking a girl to a dance? Kyle, that question's going to go to you first, man.
Basically, all the girls just ask me. I don't really have to. I really don't have a problem with that. But I get really nervous before football games, and I don't think anything's taken that away. No matter how big or small of a game it is. Usually they're all big, but no matter how big of a game it is, I always get nervous. But I'm basically a ladies' man. They ask me, and
wait. Now wait a minute. You're going to kill these dance invites you've been getting, because the sensitive side of you is going south here real quick, buddy.
I got girls in different area codes.
All right. For the sake of time here, Jeb, same thing. What makes you more nervous, that big player asking a girl to a dance?
Well, like Kyle said, usually when the girls get done asking me and I turn them down, they go to Kyle. So I'd have to say that when the big play in the game's on the line, that's probably more nervous to me.
Well, we hope that you'll stick around here, a one-man show. On my left, Jeb Goins, and on my right, Kyle Kacznarek, 2 seniors on yet another outstanding football team here at Cuyahoga Heights High School. You're watching One Man Show on Cox. Thanks, guys. One Man Show rocks on. We're into our final segment and headed towards the home stretch. Wait. Kevin Kuntz here, number 59 for the Redskins football team. What, are you worried I'm going to hit you with the hard questions here, huh?
Yeah, I am actually.
Or are you just worried about being nervous like some of the other kids that have been on the show here?
Hey, I can't top the volleyball player's performance, but I'll try.
Look at this guy. Here, peel this off, because you might want to be able to try to get some dance action too. You can turn that show off, that helmet.
This
is
mine,
the helmet, by the way, that most likely will be in the playoffs by the time this show airs. I wish these guys a lot of good luck. But You know, good football teams have great coaches and good and terrific assistant coaches, and none better than Ben Kucea on my right. He's an assistant coach with the Redskins football team. He coaches the running backs, the outside linebackers. He's in his 5th year. He came over from Beechwood, but I don't think anybody from Cuyahoga Heights holds it against you, do they?
No, they don't. I don't think you have. No.
I didn't know, personally.
But does he have to check in with you on everything?
No, he doesn't have to.
Ben, what do you get most out of coaching as an assistant coach? Because, you know, I think a lot of times parents and folks that follow high school sports take for granted the effort that assistants put in, and even head coaches. But as an assistant, what do you get the most out of being a coach here at Cuyahoga Heights?
I think the biggest thing is watching the athletes and students grow from as a freshman all the way to seniors, and they get better every year, and every year they grow as people, and that's the biggest thing, I think.
And as far as the one style of coaching you bring to this team, what would that be? Are you a disciplinarian? Are you the guy's best friends? Are you the guy that maybe finds an in-between spot somewhere down the middle on that? What is your style and your technique that you bring to this Redskins football team as an assistant coach?
I would guess you have to ask the players.
I'd say
well, right. Hey,
down the middle.
You're up, Kevin.
I'd say down the middle. He can be as disciplinary sometimes, but I mean, he still has his jokes. I mean, look, he's smiling now.
Yeah, but he's a pretty big guy over here. I think as an assistant coach, if he were barking at me, I'd have to do what he told me.
Yeah, just don't get in his way when he says who did it.
Hey, and if you're Jeb
Don't get in
Goins,
his
who was
way.
on here earlier just a couple of minutes ago, you better not fumble that football with this guy waiting for you on the sideline. Kevin, you play center and defensive line, and you've earned 3 varsity letters, and I'm going to get with you in a second, and I want to hit upon this. We were talking about this off camera, Ben and I were. There's a lot of players on this Redskins football team that have 2 and 3 varsity letters, and that's indicative of the word program when you're talking high school sports, isn't it?
Absolutely. Coach Martin has developed a great program here at Cuyahoga Heights. Like I said, we have a lot of sophomores, juniors playing. This year we have, I think, 4 or 5 juniors starting, and a great senior class that has been led by Jeb, Kevin, Kyle, and they've enjoyed great success over the last couple of years.
And you know, Cuyahoga Heights is such a well-maintained and well-groomed and beautiful high school. And the one thing that jumped out at me coming down the hallway here to tape our show was the weight training and conditioning room. How long has that been around, and just how much do not only the football players use it, but you know, maybe some of the girls we saw earlier on the volleyball team and a lot of the other student athletes? What brought that room about? How important is it, and how many student athletes use it?
I think over 100% use it, and I think they have actually a class that uses it too.
Wow.
And I think it's open to the community too, so it's open till 9 o'clock p.m. and a lot of the people in the community use it too.
Now you're a bit short for a center here. In fact, here, turn a little bit. I don't know if you can see that at home. I'll get a close-up here. Kevin's got scars and gashes in his jersey here, and I know that happens a lot with football players, but you're a center, and these truly are the badges of courage here. Now, you're not a what you would call a prototypical center.
Yeah, I'm not very big.
Physically, right. You're not very big, that even for the high school level, but where do you make up for your lack of size? You're in the trenches. You're right there in the pit, right in the middle. What do you make up for? Where do you make up the difference?
Well, obviously I'm not very large, as you said, but to make up for that, it's the quickness. It's the quickness and technique. In our offense, the way it is formatted, we all have a certain assignment we have to get done, and once we complete that assignment, we do our 1 out of 11 job, and if everyone does their job, we win games. And so if we're quick and we're technically sound, we'll make every play, we'll make touchdown after touchdown, and score after score. And that is how I personally do it, and I know a lot of people who are not much bigger than I am. I think, the smallest on the line, but still, technically sound and quickness.
And by quickness, and for the younger players at home, let me translate that. You're hitting the guy that much faster than the next guy. You're at the point of attack, which is all you really need with a talented running back like Jeb Goins, who we talked to a few minutes ago. Isn't that right? As a lineman, the point of attack, and it's all you need to do is create that contact and knock your man off the ball.
Exactly. You got to hit him before he hits you.
And that's the quickness.
And that's exactly what you're talking about here. And that's how we win. Because if they're, I mean, take last week, for example. We were outweighed by 100 pounds sometimes. And we got off the ball quicker than they did. sometimes, and that's how we got the advantage, and we took the upper hand for a little bit. Because if we hit them before they hit us, they can't get their head of steam to roll us over, and that's how we do it.
You're watching One Man Show. I'm your host, Z Zoltai. Kevin Kuntz, number 59. He's the starting center, also plays defensive line for the Cuyahoga Heights Redskins. On my right, Ben Kucea, the assistant coach. He works with the running backs and the outside linebackers. Ben, with a guy like Jeb Goins, how easy does that make your job?
Not very. No, I'm just
Good
kidding.
answer, by the way.
Jeb is an extremely hard worker. He's developed into one of our biggest surprises.
Hey, Kevin, back to you now.
Okay.
You're not off the hook just yet here, man.
No,
I challenged the girls with this question, and I'll challenge you too. Besides playing football here at Cuyahoga Heights High School, what else are you involved with? Maybe in the community, at home, other school activities here?
Well, I have student council.
Nice. Okay.
Student council, I joined 10th grade year. And then
You're on a roll here.
Teen
Keep going.
Institute, it's against drugs and alcohol. And we also have, I was in a community play my sophomore year. And just, I try to do whatever I can, really. I mean, whatever fits into my busy schedule with my classes and my, obviously, football. And I also play baseball in the spring. So it's tough to fit stuff in, but I do whatever I can.
Yes, I am involved. Unfortunately, I'm hooked up with Coach Martin during the game, so it's either pulling back the ear set or...
Oh, hold on here. What do you mean, unfortunately, here? Let's just take about 10 seconds and elaborate on that.
Like I said, he's a fiery guy, so if you catch him on the wrong night, he's gonna get a little crazy out there. But yeah.
Since our show's running very short on time here, I'm going to ask you each one more final question. I'm going to give you yours first, Ben. To the young student athletes out there in Brooklyn Heights and the Cuyahoga Heights School District that want to play football, 9, 10 years of age, give them one thing that they can work on while they're playing in the backyard and as they go to the junior high level that will help them be a part of a great team like the Redskins are enjoying this season.
One thing we started is a 5th and 6th grade program, so like I would say to them is just listen to your coaches on their technique and commitment. Commitment to the game is a big deal to us, so that's the 2 things I would give them.
Excellent. Easiest question of the night, Kevin. What do you want for Christmas, buddy?
What do I want for Christmas? Probably a down payment on Halo 2, actually. A down payment on Halo 2.
That's all right.
Oh, yeah, because, I wouldn't get into it, but it's a big deal between my friends and I.
Number 59, he's a senior, he's a center and a defensive lineman. Kevin Kuntz on my left, and I'm flanked on my right by one of the top assistant coaches in the MAC 8, Ben Kucea, coaches the running backs and outside linebackers here at Cuyahoga Heights High School. This is One Man Show, our wrap-up sessions right now.
It's not, I don't know, it's not that bad.
Well, no. Do not even put that on there.